Hello everybody, welcome back to Fan First Sports. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am. It's been a fun, good week, and I hope the same to you guys. Today, I want to talk about the Trailblazers Summer League recap, what I thought of the team, the guys, and just where the Blazers sit, and currently my expectations and what I think about them. And so I'm excited to talk about it all. I will say the NBA is kind of going into that dry season, right, where there's nothing going on until mid-October when preseason begins. Then we get the season back going, and I'm really excited because next season there's so many teams I want to watch and storylines that I want to see pan out, and I'm excited to see how this Blazers team really works. Before I even go into Summer League action though, I just want to talk on the Blazers and what I think and just put out my prediction for them. Obviously, things can still maybe change, but I put out a poll on my Instagram where I said, where do the Blazers end up next season? Where do they finish? And it was like 1 through 3 in the West, 3 through 6, 6 through 8, or miss playoffs or whatever. And the majority of the answers were 6 through 8 or miss the playoffs. And I know Blazers fans and people are critical of this team, but let me give some perspective real quick. The Trailblazers finished 5th last season in the West, and or were tied for it. They missed CJ and Nurk for about half the season, didn't have Norman Powell till after the trade deadline, and were still coached by Terry Stotts. So first of all, I have extreme faith in Chauncey Billups, and all the things he's been saying so far have literally been what the Blazers needed to do. And being a fresh coach, I know he's going to try out all these new things, and I don't see how the Blazers finish 6 through 8 or miss the playoffs. Night in and night out, I don't see how they're beat by other teams with this core group. I think this core group is going to be an amazing regular season team led by Damian Lillard. I honestly think they're going to finish top 4 in the West, maybe even top 3. And a lot of people don't agree with that, but I just, again, you finished 5th last season with everything that was going on with the team. And the West didn't significantly get better. Go look at all the other rosters and teams out there. None of them really made huge moves. And so I think this core group, with Chauncey Billups talking about the things he's talking about, I really think they're a top 4 seed. Call me crazy, but that's my prediction for them, okay? So real quick, Blazers Summer League. First of all, the Summer League, these games don't matter, win or lose. They went 2-3, and you're really just trying to see things in guys that can project onto an NBA roster and be, show little things for their potential of what they could provide. And so this Summer League team, though, was a little different because they had such a veteran presence. Guys like Michael Beasley, Kenneth Faried, Emmanuel Mudiay, even Antonio Blakeney, who was kind of, he's been around and seen things. And so I was actually going in really excited to see mainly that first 3 and see how they would pan out, because there's still a Blazers roster spot available. And I was mostly looking at Emmanuel Mudiay for that 3rd string point guard. And so I was excited. As far as our young guys, we had draft picks Greg Brown III and Watford. And then obviously going into his sophomore season with CJ Elleby. And so right away, I'm just going to jump into the guy that impressed me the most. It was Greg Brown III. Now, when we got that draft pick, the Blazers really never in the recent past have drafted a player like him. 6'9" frame, young guy, super athletic with go-go gadget arms. And the reason I was excited about that pick is his ceiling, right, is superstar, it's up here. His ceiling is so high. But also with those type of players, the floor, right, he could just never pan out and be anything. But it was really refreshing to see him play, because he didn't jump off on the stat sheets and do all these crazy things or put up huge points, but it was everything I wanted to see from a player like him. Now, first of all, with Greg Brown, I just love his demeanor. To me, he kind of just gives me this mean machine vibe where he just wants to dunk on you or block your stuff off the backboard. He just plays with like this quiet aggression, I want to say. And the things he showed me was like on defense, right? He would just come out of nowhere and get these major blocks, nasty blocks, and then get out into transition fast. He looked very like fluid. Even rebounding, there was times where he would just skyrocket into the sky and grab it effortlessly out of the sky, and then he didn't try to like push the pace or anything or make a silly outlet pass. He was very calm in that sense, and I love to see that from a young player. And he got blocks out on the perimeter on jump shots or at the rim. It didn't really matter. And then his offensive game, he seemed very confident in his shot. There was no hesitation, and I think he can develop into a pretty decent three-point shooter. And he knew his role on offense too. There was a couple times where he would drive and be out of control, but those were easy fixed things. It just seems like, you add some knowledge, just get more familiar with how he can attack, and I think he'll be totally fine. He made great cuts to the basket, great finisher, and then his highlight plays. There was the one in transition I'm sure most people saw where he got the ball in transition, then off like one step goes into a between the legs dunk on a fast break, and it was like just so out of nowhere, and he made it look so effortless. And it was just like, wow, like this guy, man, like he has all the tools and athleticism to be something. And after watching all of what he did through Summer League, I really want him to get spot minutes for the Blazers this season. Say you need to rest a guy and you're playing a weaker team, like go ahead and throw him in and get him 15 minutes. The reason I'm excited for Chauncey is I felt like, and I've said this in the past, Terry Stotts never knew how to develop his young guys like throughout the season. But I feel like Chauncey's gonna really take someone on like Greg Brown, take him under his wing and give him that belief and confidence like, hey man, you can do this. And I think by giving him those spot minutes, I don't think he's gonna mess up and just look terrible out there. Like I said, he knows his role. He can provide a lot of good things. He can play pretty decent defense, shoot the ball, and he's not gonna have all this attention. Playing next to Dame, he's gonna have some good looks at stuff and be like a lob finisher. So I'm really excited to see Greg Brown. He was refreshing to watch, and he's really the main reason why I was tuning into the games at the end, is I wanted to see him play more. And Blazer fans, I feel like for the most part, love this guy. So great pick. Maybe it's a steal, but I have high potential. He has high potential, and I have high faith in him. Now, the next guy I want to jump right into is CJ Elleby, going into his second season. Now, this guy, I did not know why the Blazers drafted him last year. It was very questionable, but I was like, yeah, it's a second round pick. Like, okay, prove me wrong. And we didn't see anything from him his rookie season really. And I was trying to figure out during these Summer League games, like, what is CJ Elleby's strength? Was it three-point shooting? Was it defense? Was it playmaking? I couldn't really figure out what the guy was good at. Like, why was he drafted? And then not to mention, he doesn't look like an NBA player. Like, I'm sorry, this might sound weird, but like, just looking at him and like, I don't want to say like his swag, but like the way he looks on the court, I just don't think like, yeah, good basketball player. And then even his play, it just didn't look like, there was a lot of times where he looked like one of the worst players on the court. He made very questionable passes. He would airball threes. His shot selection, he got blocked a lot of the time. He had little like short range shots that he wasn't even getting off the ground for. And I just didn't know, like, I'm really hoping here that this is just, Summer League's a different type of game. And maybe it just wasn't, he was going through like a bad stretch of games and it wasn't, I don't know. Like, I just hope that was just a terrible performance and showing from him and he can prove me wrong. But at this point, I just don't see where he can ever elevate into something more than where he's at right now and be like a good role player on the team. I don't know. that's kind of where I sit on CJ Elleby. So that's that. Watford, just really quick, he gave me a small sample size. I thought he showed a couple things, and I don't know if he'll ever develop into much more. He had some nice little moves in the post. Didn't look bad on defense. Looked pretty. Had a good feel for the game. I feel like his IQ wasn't terrible, and so I just want to see how that one pans out more. But I really couldn't get a good feeling on Watford. So yeah, that's Watford. Now the veterans, like I said, I was really excited to see Emmanuel Mudiay. Obviously there was Kenneth Faried and Michael Beasley. Now my take on all of them from watching the games is they are exactly what you would have thought they would be. Michael Beasley could score a little. He could get his shot. He could shoot the open three. He could rebound. He's a pretty big body. Kenneth Faried, trash can player, does the dirty work, rebounds hard, all that stuff. And then Emmanuel Mudiay, I felt like at times showed maybe the most in the way he had a good feel and comfort for his game, hit a lot of short to mid-range jumpers, was creative to get to the basket, and had a lot of times where he set up his guys for easy looks. But there was also times where he just looked average. And he was the guy I was most excited for. But again, all these three players was exactly what you would have thought from them, except they just looked a step slow and washed. And so none of them really, if I was Neil, I wouldn't really want any of these guys on the Blazers roster. If I had to pick one, maybe Kenneth Faried, just because the Blazers need some size and depth down low. But I just wasn't impressed with them. And I much would have rather seen Greg Brown or Watford get a lot more run than some of those veteran guys. Like, I would have rather taken risks on younger players and maybe see what they could do, because literally those guys showed you exactly what they were about. Everyone knew what they were about, except they all just looked a step slow. So that was my view on them. Now the last guy, I want to talk about is Antonio Blakeney. I put out a tweet that he looked like Lou Will out there. Now, Blazer fans were going like either loving this guy and hyping him up, saying he's better than CJ McCollum, or you thought this guy was so overrated and people needed to stop like fanboying him. And I will say, it was exciting to watch him play. It was exciting to, Antonio Blakeney really can get his shot whenever he wants. He's very creative. He knows where to get his shots. He has a nice touch around the paint. He's a patient, creative player, and I really appreciated watching him play. And he can shoot the ball really well. His three-point shot was nice. But the problem is, most of his buckets came on isolation plays where he just broke down his defender. Does that translate to the NBA when you have better, maybe bigger defenders on you and can take away your strengths? And he's had chances in the past on NBA teams and was actually very inefficient. Do the Blazers want a guy that is just going to stall an ISO ball? Personally, I wouldn't pick him up. Now, like I said, he can get a bucket whenever, and that's what Summer League is for. Like, players like Blakeney, they shine because they can just score and put up a lot of points. There's been a lot of guys in the past that kill it in Summer League and then never can translate it to the NBA. And like I said, he's had shots in the past, and I don't know, yes, he's a certified bucket getter. I just don't think you use a roster spot on Blakeney when you're already a high-powered offense. And so I'm not on the Blakeney train as far as bringing him on. If they do, I'm not mad because, maybe you throw him out there and he gets hot, a couple games throughout the year, like 2 or 3 games, I don't know. But I just don't expect much. And so what I took away from this whole Blazers Summer League, after seeing everything, watching the games, really the one thing that was shown is Greg Brown has potential, and I think he's a lot further along than I would have expected from him. I saw so many great things, and so the sky's the limit for him, and I think he's going to thrive under Chauncey. So boom, I think that is potentially a steal pick And honestly, it's easy to get high on your young guys. I think every fan and team does that. Like, oh, this guy's the guy. He's the steal of the draft. We had the best draft. He's going to make it. And, you know, honestly, like, our guys in the past, Zach Collins, Anfernee, Nas, even going back to like Myers, CJ, you know, some of these young guys, Caleb Swanigan, I really was never as high on them as I am with Brown, with Greg Brown. Like I see so much in him because, like I said, they've never drafted a player like him. So I'm high on him. CJ Elleby, I don't know why they drafted him. The veterans didn't show me too much from what was expected from them. And then Blakeney is a bucket getter, but I don't think you need him on the team. So that's the Blazers Summer League recap. Let me know who is your favorite player to watch, what you guys took away from it, some things you think I'm wrong at. But that's it. That's it for today. So until the next episode, I hope you guys have a great one. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon, okay?